Hey, Hickok 45 here. Finally got our hands on an FN 5.7. We've had a lot of requests to shoot this gun. You're probably familiar with it. It's kind of famous from FN for being a high-speed, a lightweight gun, shoots a lightweight bullet really fast, and 22 caliber, 224, 5.7. So we're going to shoot it some here, and I'm going to see what I think about it. Okay, it's pretty expensive to shoot, but we're going to do it. So let's take a few shots. Let's take the, put a round in the chamber. Oh, nice. Ah, he tried to get away. Let me pick that guy off. I'll try to. All right. Nice. 2 liters, you don't have a chance. Almost spoke too soon, didn't I? Oh man, what's next? Another 2 liter. Nice. I think I figured out you have to hold right on. I have another magazine. Let's put some more bullets in. Oh, nice. All right, all right. Oh look, a coconut. Someone hung a coconut right there. Yeah, that's one from the farm here. We grow a lot of those. We just forget to shoot them. That took care of it, didn't it? Now I have a moving target. And a cantaloupe. He was trying to escape. All right. Now those were all 127 grain rounds, hollow points actually. And I'm gonna put those mags back over here. So we try both rounds. What we have are some SS 195, which is what I was shooting, 27 grain hollow points. Then we have some 40 grain SS 197 rounds, and what those look like. Blue tip, a couple mags loaded of those, and like I say, this gun is fairly well, it's well known by a lot of people, or it's famous for being so unique. It's a different type of firearm. It came out in, I guess it was 98. The carbine FN came out with in 1990, I believe. It was the PS90, P90, and they developed this cartridge. Actually in response to a NATO request for something to replace the 9mm, I understand. Something that rear echelon, the rear area folks could carry and be well armed, and it would actually penetrate Kevlar and some of the armor. And in the military configuration of the rounds and law enforcement, it is pretty effective at that, as I understand. Now the civilian version on the ammo and everything is a little bit less velocity, but it's still very fast. And this has become a fairly popular firearm. So I believe it was made available to civilians in, what was it, 2004? So it's been around a while. Most of you have seen it. You probably know a little bit about it, maybe more than I do. All right, so we got 40 big, heavy 40 grain bullets here. Let's try them on that cinder block. Now we're just kind of experimenting. I don't know what to expect here with anything I hit with it, really. I've never really shot a firearm with, that was exactly like this and shoots a round like this. Interesting. All right, chewed it up. That was 20 rounds. Not bad, not bad. Shooting a 22. We have a couple more here. Let's put a couple more on that. That was kind of fun. hitting the same place. All right. Before I empty this magazine, I thought I might try a little longer range. These magazines hold 20 rounds. Let's go on out to the gong. And we might not be able to hear it, but I think I know about where to hold. Interesting. I don't know, I'm not sure where I was going. It's so loud you can't really tell when it hits. I think I heard some ringing. So let's take a look at it here before we shoot some more, and we'll probably shoot some more. It does have a magazine disconnect. I think I'll load a little bit while I'm talking a little bit about it. It has a magazine disconnect, so you cannot fire it with the magazine out. And that's one thing about it that a lot of people sure do not like. It is FN, and I shot it a little bit before the video, just got it yesterday. And it's on loan, not from FN, but from ASP. I'll put that information in the description. So we appreciate that. And it is like about anything from FN, it feels like quality, okay? That's first and foremost. Whatever you think of this round, and whatever I think of it, and whatever I decide about it, the gun feels like a quality piece of hardware. It really does. And you know, it's compared a lot with a 22 Magnum. A lot of people talk about it being just an expensive 22 Magnum, Winchester Magnum, and in some ways maybe it is, but it's you got a big difference here. You have basically a rifle cartridge is what it was designed as, and it has a center fire, you know, has a primer. It's a center fire round, what I'm trying to say. And that makes it much more reliable. That's one of the big criticisms of any kind of 22 that you might use for self-defense. Not just the small bullet, which is one factor, but the fact that it's rim fire. So here you got a center fire cartridge, all right? You got a very fast cartridge. And I don't want to get into the big controversy. I know a lot of people argue over this gun and this cartridge a lot, and I don't really have a dog in that fight, other than I'm anxious to try it out myself. From what I can gather from what I've read and my browsing around is that a lot of people contend it is just a glorified 22 Magnum, and but then others will say that the 22 Magnum statistics velocity is based on rifle rounds, and when you put the 22 Magnum in a handgun like the PMR 30, the Kel-Tec, then you're talking around 1250 feet per second, whereas with this you're talking around 1700 feet per second, which is big. And you can get ammo up to 2000, I think. So you are talking about a different level of velocity there, and that's big when you're shooting a 22. For those who are kind of new to shooting, the 223, you know, the 5.56, the military round, NATO round, that's what it relies on pretty much, the velocity. It's a 55 grain bullet. It's really not much heavier than that right there, but it moves very fast, you know, around 3,000 feet per second. So that's what you need when you have a really light bullet. And so that's what you get. You get more velocity generally with this than you would a 22 Magnum. Plus the other advantage is, and I'm talking advantages now, there are disadvantages, but the advantage is, of course, reliability. Centerfire cartridge, and in this gun, an FN firearm that is incredibly reliable. It just is. Let me shoot a couple more, and then we might just take it apart. How would that be? Let you look at the insides. I want to go back over there a little bit. Interesting safety. You know, the safety's out here, where you know, if you have the gun like this, you just push that safety off and it's ready to go. Whereas right here, where you would expect a thumb safety to be, that's just your slide lock. Interesting. Okay, so you have to get used to that, but it works well. It doesn't take a lot of strength to activate it, because you don't have a lot of strength out there in your finger usually. All right, I'm going to hold over there on that pig on the left. I don't know if it would knock a pig over, to tell you the truth, but I'm going to try a couple. So they have a hard time hearing whether it hits. Maybe we can actually see a reaction. I'm throwing a lot of expensive rounds over there. Let me try to bear down a little bit on that left pig. Okay. Alright, just hit the red plate. I don't know why I can't hit a pig, or if I am, he's just not falling. So I moved to the plate. Let me try it again. At least I can see it swing. Yeah, I think I popped it again. Seems really accurate. It really does. Let me try that turkey. I think I can. It might knock it over, or I might hear it. Yeah, I think it was hitting. Interesting. Okay. Let me try that little piggy standing on the wood. I know it'll knock him off if I hit it. Okay, not sure where I'm going. I guess I wouldn't win any shooting matches today with this thing. That's funny because it feels really comfortable to shoot. Let me try this other ammo. I think the little bit of long range shooting I was doing was with this 27 grain ammo, and see if I can do any better with that. But that's all I'm doing today is just playing with it. The thing is pretty expensive to shoot. I mean, it's not extravagant. It's not a lot worse than, say, a 44 Magnum or maybe even some 45 ACP if you find your ammo online at the very best price where you can, find it. I picked up about 6 or 8 boxes yesterday, and I didn't get a great bargain or anything. So I don't really need to be slinging this stuff around like it's 9mm, 115 grain bulk ammo or something. But you know me, I just like to shoot. Yeah, I think I can see a few hits on that steel over there. But I took a few shots at that rifle plate over there before we started, and I think I hit it 3 times in a row, so I felt pretty comfortable with that. I'm not sure what's going on with me. So enough to know the gun shoots pretty much right on. And as I was saying earlier, these magazines hold 20 rounds. And that's one of the advantages of this gun. You get 20 rounds, pretty powerful ammo for 22 in a magazine that fits flush. So that's pretty amazing. And weight, another advantage of this gun, it doesn't weigh much. That was one of their goals, I think, as they developed it. It weighs about 20 ounces. It's a tad over 20 ounces empty without the magazine. And that is about the same weight as a Glock 26. Okay, a Glock 26 is 1 ounce less than this gun. And then even with a full magazine of 20 rounds, I compared it with a fully loaded Glock 26, and you're still just 1 ounce more than a loaded Glock 26. So it's a lightweight gun. It really feels light. It's not necessarily small, but it feels lighter than it really is, because there aren't probably any guns this big out there that weigh that. I don't know, I might be wrong. Okay, magazine disconnect. Let's try a couple more shots here. As usual, I'll end up shooting more than I meant to. I cannot stand to miss too much. I mean, here where I can do what I'm doing. All right, these are 127 grain bullets, hollow points. Of course, they're not going to knock over too much, are they? Let me throw a couple at the gong. Okay, I hear a ring after the sound goes away. I hear a ring there too. Okay. Yeah, I think that was actually hitting it. I'm going to try that red target again, the red rifle target. Let's see, I think I hit it. Yeah, it feels pretty good. I'll even try that little piggy again. I don't know where I was going with that thing. This might be one of those videos where I run over there and knock him over. Okay. All right. I think well, I don't know. It's holding too high or too low, as usual. Okay. Let's see what it sounds like on the cowboy. All right, dead center. The gun, you can't tell maybe in the on your computer screen as well, but because all sound is muffled to an extent, but it is pretty loud. And then when it hits steel, it doesn't make as much noise because it's a 22, so you don't hear it as well. Okay, I don't think it does any damage to these regular plates. I'm gonna see where to hold on them. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, one advantage is it has low recoil, so you can rack off the rounds. I'm gonna hit that barrel there. You know, in terms of trying to shoot the thing fully auto, shouldn't be that hard really. Let's take it apart here real quick while it's warm. Show you. Yeah. Very interesting gun. Very interesting. Now, make sure it's empty, and then you have to pull the trigger, okay? And then this little button here moves rearward, and it's awkward, I say, and I've not figured out the best trick, because I have a hard time, even though I know the gun's loaded, when I look at the chamber, there's no question it's unloaded. I still have a hard time putting my hand in front of that muzzle. It just goes against everything, and I really, the easiest way to break it down is when I put my hand in front of that muzzle. So I'm gonna try to refrain from doing that. But you gotta get some pressure off the slide, and you push this button back, and that releases everything. Okay, and keep my hand on it. And slide back. There's an easier way to do it. I just haven't figured it out yet. There we go. It comes right off, and then your barrel, reaching everything in separate pieces. Interesting firearm. You see the slide is lined, of course, with metal, and it's covered with polymer, just to reduce the weight as much as possible. And you know, the finish on this gun, there's almost no place you can scratch up the metal. It's all polymer. It really is. There's the reach of that barrel. Interesting. That little bitty hole. Ouch! It's hot. Somehow it got hot. Yep, I know. The magazine out was made that a little awkward. That's right. Okay. So you got to have something for a little while to get the hang of it. You see how that releases. You push that back, and it releases it. And then when you put it back together, it's actually simpler. Ouch! 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 Somebody's been shooting this thing. Got it hot. Okay. You just put it straight down on there. In fact, push it down and back, and it's ready to go. All right. So you basically, it's like a Glock. You want to get some pressure off of it. And I think back there, that's probably the best way to do it. And then push that up. Yeah, that'd be a better way to do it. And kind of like a Glock, and then pull up on it, and you're in business. Okay, so it is simple to break down. I just didn't make it look simple. Again, your safety is right there. The mag release is reversible. It's not necessarily, ambi, it's just reversible. Okay, and you got an ambidextrous safety on it. All right. And it's got little tabs here, if you notice, so it's really easy to get a hold of back here. You've got your little serrations more or less there, but then you've got a little lip back there, so your hand's not going to slip off of that. Got your 3-dot sight system. Rear sights are adjustable. And it has a really aggressive stippling here on the grip. Feels pretty good. I like that. Some people would think it's a little too rough probably, but not me. I like a rough grip. Okay, you got your Picatinny rail there. And it's ready for action. Magazines are polymer. I think there's no steel in them. They're just thick for the spring. They're all polymer. Very light. Very light. Let me load some of these 40 grain ones up here before we quit. Interesting gun. Like I say, it's kind of controversial. I'm not going to get too much into all that. I'm not sure what I think about it, to tell you the truth, in terms of these little rounds like this. You know, how effective they are and all that sort of thing. You know, people argue about bullets and calibers endlessly on all the forums. That's gone on forever and will continue to go on. I will say I see some advantages, just kind of common sense things. People who are really recoil sensitive, maybe they're way up there in years, they just haven't shot very much and not going to shoot a lot. They don't want anything that's going to kick, you know, but they want a handgun. You know, something's not too heavy. Well, maybe that's what they want, because very little recoil. I don't care how loud that seems to you. There's hardly any recoil. Okay, just like a 22 Magnum feels like. And so you got that going for you. And you got a 22. You got high capacity. You got 20 rounds in a magazine. They're very light. So they're in one package. You have a gun that's not going to kick you much at all. At all. So you don't even have to think about that. And you've got a lot of bullets, a lot of cartridges right there in your hand at your disposal. And they even make a 30-round magazine for this thing. I think it's an aftermarket company, but there's a 30-round mag available, and it doesn't extend very much. I've seen it. It comes out, you know, about that much. It's not like the long 33-round, you know, Glock magazines, the Glock 18 mags that come way on down. It is longer, but it's not all that long. So you can get 20 or 30 rounds. There's a 10-round magazine available for it, as I understand. So you can, you know, whatever you want there. My impressions of it at this point is pretty cool. I'm not sure whether I need one or not, whether it's something I have to have. I kind of like it. It's, like I said, it's a quality gun, and it's unique. You know, these little rounds, even though they're 40 grains, they're moving pretty fast. The thing that separates this from, well, all the other little 22s, 22 long rifle, 22 Magnum, in a big way for me, is the fact that it's a centerfire cartridge. And it's in a gun that's utterly, I think, reliable. From what I've read and heard, and I'll show you if you can kind of get a look at this. Now with that round going in, safety's on, you'll notice because of the bottleneck cartridge, you know, there's no ramp there. It just more or less goes straight in, kind of like an AK. So for that thing to malfunction, you know, it's going to be have to be awfully dirty. You know, just really hard to imagine that round hanging up. You know, and that's one of the things I've read and heard. They're just utterly reliable, utterly reliable. So we'll take a few more shots with it here. See what we've got. We haven't shot this plate here. That's hardened steel, so it shouldn't hurt it. And again, it's not a 223. Let's put the safety off. I mean, you feel like you can machine gun with it because there's just no recoil. Very little recoil. Essentially no recoil. Okay. And again, it's not a 223. That's another myth. You know, I think some people labor under thinking, wow, this thing's amazing. It's like having an AR-15 in your hand. Again, and don't quote me on my velocity numbers, but you know, you're talking about in the neighborhood of 3,000 feet per second with a 55 grain bullet, with a 5.56, you know, 223. With this gun, you're talking in the neighborhood, you're pushing up towards 2,000, depending on, you know, civilian ammo, 1650, 1700, 1800, whatever you might have able to get your hands on. Even with the hottest ammo for this, I think you're talking maybe 2,200 feet per second at the very top end, I believe. okay, in that vicinity, and that would be mostly military, law enforcement, that kind of thing. So, you know, there's a vast difference there. All right, and again, the 22 Magnum, you're talking down there around 1250, I believe, out of a handgun. So just kind of think in that term. So it's not going to shoot through the metal targets just because it's the same type of cartridge as the 5.56. All right. What do we want to shoot here before we wrap up? What do we got? Oh, we've got a 2-liter. I forgot. We've got a little piece left of that. Yeah, the coconut too, don't we? I'm gonna go for the 2-liter. And I'm going to get a little closer. I'm not sure I can tell where I've got those 40 grain bullets in here. Okay, I think I was shooting under it. Let me bear down on that plate there and see where to hold. Okay. Yeah, shoots a little bit lower with those than I was thinking. Okay, let me finish it off in a little bit of rapid fire here on the tombstone. Let's put it in the holster. I actually have this is a Glock 30 holster. It actually fits in this one. I have another Glock 30 holster. It didn't fit so well in, but this particular one it did okay. So it feels pretty good. All right, FN 5.7. Now there's something I have to get used to. I hit the slide release. Let me do it slow motion. Okay, pull it out. Finger on the safety, right there. Look it down. Fire. Okay. I mean, you feel as though you can just hold it right on there. There's almost no rearward movement of the gun. Pretty neat little gun, I'll have to say. My first impressions. We'll do some more with it, but it's just fun. Obviously, I need to figure out where to hold and probably stick with one of those bullet weights. I think the 27 grain ones were hitting exactly where I like to hold the sights, and I think the 40 grain bullets were shooting a tad lower or something. I don't know. Maybe in my imagination. You need to shoot anything that's new a little bit and kind of figure it out. And all the more reason to figure out what ammo you like the best with any gun, was a 9mm or 45, and where your point of impact is, and you stick with it, you know, really. So anyway, basically my first go around, my first shooting of this thing, other than about a magazine or so, and I'll have to say it's very interesting at this point to me. I kind of like it. If it maybe were a lot less money, I might, yeah, I'm gonna have one of those. You know, I don't know, they retail for somewhere around $1,000 or a little bit more, I think. You know, at that price point, you know, I'm gonna have to like it a lot, but it is a likable gun. Not a lot of negatives other than the cost of the ammo, and I don't know. I mean, if you don't like a 22 bullet, you know, that would be a big negative, wouldn't it? But other than that, you know, it's a pretty cool gun. I think I like it. Life's pretty good.